Good evening, everyone. The time is now 7:30 PM. This is the September 22nd, 2022 work session of the Allendale Mayor and Council. Welcome to everyone who is joining us in the audience and on Zoom webinar. At this time, I ask everyone to please mute your devices so as not to distract from the business of the meeting. There'll be one opportunity during this meeting for public comment, and we'll advise you at the appropriate time. Linda, please read the Open Public Meeting Act announcement.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice requirements have been satisfied. The meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting, are posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and on the borough website, published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year, and copies are sent to the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting by the September 14th, 2022 Sunshine Notice was sent to the record, the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger, and has been posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and borough website.
Great, thank you. Linda, please conduct the roll call.
Councilwoman Homan. Here. Councilwoman Lovasolo is absent. Councilman O'Connell.
Here.
Councilman O'Toole, absent. Councilman Sasso.
Here.
Councilwoman Wozinski.
Here.
And Mayor Bernstein.
Here. Public comment. This is the first of 3 opportunities tonight for the public present to comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come to the microphone at the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to address the governing body. And Mark, I think now would be a good time. We have the time during the work session.
I had Mark Savastano, 22 Reland Place. I had shared a concern with Chief Dillon about a parking issue in the center of town. And he had originally mentioned that he would bring this up at a public safety meeting.
He did.
Okay, and I had shared another photo of that same situation recently also with you. I was wondering what the result of that conversation was, if it's in consideration, or
I'm going to
and if I can explain to the rest of the council what I had suggested.
Certainly, I'm going to turn it over to the chief, but I am going to tell you that we did discuss it at the last public safety meeting with the chief. Sergeant Griffith was there as well. So chief, if you want to address it.
Yes, Mr. Savasano had brought to my attention issue with large cars parking, long cars parking in slanted spaces on the south side of West Allendale. As you know, the cars aren't getting any smaller,
Right.
and there's SUVs and pickup trucks that are parking in spots that result in the end of the car hanging over into the lane of travel. I had looked at the complaint and discussed it with my traffic officers, and it's not an easy solve, so to speak. I know there has been some changes downtown, and we're also doing the street safety project as well currently, but it's still being researched what the possibilities, if there is, if it is.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if not fascinated, I was interested in the conversation with you and Sergeant Griffith about the angle and purposefully how already it was designed.
It's been changed once before.
Right. That's right. So it wasn't even a matter of first impression that the angle was purposefully to try to accommodate the bigger vehicles, maybe the size of the vehicles. I did see that picture. That truck was.
Yeah.
So when you're driving down, you have to what's the problem?
Yeah, it's happened often enough that I stopped to take photos of it, and the cars are absurdly long. And what I suggested to the chief was possibly putting up a sign that if you don't fit, you shouldn't park here. If you go beyond the end of that white line, then there's no legitimate reason to be parking there. The photo that I shared with the mayor and the chief, there was a car almost 3/4 of the way across the double yellow line to get around that vehicle at that point. And I did suggest that perhaps changing the angle would be helpful. I've seen in other municipalities where the cars are all parked in the opposite direction, so it's easier to get out, but that wouldn't work here because you'd be going against the flow of traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
So we didn't come to a resolution or conclusion. We discussed it. So it's still on the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you for,
It was certainly,
yeah, I just was looking to find out if it had been discussed.
okay.
Another quick comment. We had spoken several times about the sidewalk at the corner of Myrtle and Talman Place. I know the trees had been taken down. I assume that was because they were raising the sidewalk. But that's the first time I addressed this was when Mayor Liz was still here. So it's been quite a long period of time. And I would like to know that that is going to be addressed. And the sidewalk is absurdly high. It has the entire depth of the sidewalk is raised, and you can see underneath it. So I was hoping that would.
I can answer that. Phase, you have to sign checks today for OnQ / Conquest, who won the catch basins and sidewalks. They won sidewalks to other areas of the community. That's the next part they're doing. Keep an eye on the budget. It's on there. We'll get
Great.
on it for the winter.
Great, Ron. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Great, Mark.
Mayor and Council.
Thanks so much. Anyone else from the public wish to be heard? Not seeing anyone. Agenda review, very light agenda, which is fine. We have 3 resolutions on the consent agenda. One is the bill list. I reviewed it. Amy, you have as well. I'm sure Matt has as well. The other 2 have to do with a SLEO officer. So Chief, as long as we have you here, do you want to speak to that?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the consent agenda is a resolution, appointment of a special law enforcement officer, class 3, basically retired law enforcement officer that will be working under the borough, but assigned to the school for safety and security of the schools and the students. We have 2 currently at the high school. The Board of Education, Dr. Mark and Hope, lower schools have approached me and asked that we have a safe program for Hillside and Coastside. Before Allendale, Texas incident, we were discussing it, and that has since propelled it a little faster. And I addressed the PTO yesterday, and they were very happy with the prospect of having
And funded by the school district.
Thank you. That's a good point to make. It's fully funded, equipment, training, and also salary.
Great. Thank you very much. Committee reports, council reports. Councilwoman Holman?
Sure. The Water Committee would like to share that we're still on phase 2 water restrictions. We will be having a meeting this Friday, and we'll discuss the opportunities to whether or not we can lift these restrictions. The sale of the water system to Veolia has not yet been completed, but even though I've been busy at school a lot, our water committee has still been having regular meetings with Veolia, trying to wrap up all the many items, which I'm sure Ray will share, that he spends a decent amount of time on ensuring that all of these parts are wrapped up. We are hopeful that the transaction approval will be on the Board of Public Utilities agenda at the end of this month. Once the BPU approves the transaction, we then should be able to close within the next 45 days. There will still be some remaining items that will need to be resolved after the closing date. So it's not like it's, a zipped up and all right, we're all done. Anything else I'm missing on that, Ray?
No, and I think the biggest thing that the committee is dealing with is the question of easements. With the borough owning the system, and obviously it's a system that's existed for many years. In some cases where there was infrastructure on borough property, the borough had not historically granted an easement to itself. But now that we're transferring the system to a third party, there's some creation of older documents that really needs to be done. And that's really where the focus is right now.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. So let's see, the other thing as far as water, the most recent testing results, Allendale Water had met and or exceeded the NJDEP testing guidelines. So that's positive. As far as sewers, we are still working with Saddle River, and we've communicated to Ramsey because we will need to have new agreements in place with both of those municipalities, because we receive some of their sewage coming through the Allendale sewer system. And I think that's about it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Councilman O'Connell?
Thank you, Mayor. For the DPW, Ron's been busy working on an auction of borough equipment and vehicles that various departments are not using anymore. The next two phases of the downtown projects, the streetscape project will be starting next week, and the yearly leaf bag program will be starting in October. You know when you're going to start picking up?
It'll be in John's newsletter. It's, 10
Perfect.
weeks, 5 weeks each side. I think whatever the first Monday in October is.
Thank you,
John
Mayor.
organized pretty quiet.
Thank you very much. Councilman Sasso?
Yes, thank you. Parks, recreation, and facilities, all good, thanks to Mr. Kistner and his team, so there's nothing new to report there. Since Councilwoman Solo is out tonight, I'm going to cover her report. I also sit on that committee. Land use met yesterday at 8 a.m. The land use committee, which includes construction, property maintenance, a lot of other things. Engineering, very, very busy as usual. Our engineer is very busy with the water sale too. So
Yes, he is.
they're going. The other thing is there's a lot of construction going on in town in terms of residential remodeling and things like that, which is keeping Mr. Hackett, our construction code official, busy. That I take as a very good sign, a good leading indicator of people's satisfaction with the borough. Instead of buying a new house or buying a bigger house and moving, they stay here and they renovate. Our revenues on construction permits is up to well before pre-COVID levels. And that revenue, of course, is good, as is the increased tax dollars when you build that gigantic addition. So thank you for that. A reminder, and I think this is in this month's newsletter too, contractor signs are not permitted in the borough of Allendale. You getting your roof done or this done or your deck power washed, they can't put a sign out. It serves no purpose except for them to get free advertising. You're already paying them anyway. Don't give them free advertising, and they're ugly and they're not permitted. Also, our tree ordinance, chapter 24418, I believe. Know that it's there and know that we're serious about it. Recently, a builder disregarded our tree ordinance. And by the way, our trees are one of the best assets we have in Allendale. They're beautiful, and it's one thing that makes this town, one of the many things that makes Allendale great. Disregarded the ordinance, and this past Tuesday was in court and was fined $3,000.
Wow. Cha-ching.
And I'm not going to go into details of the violation because I'm not as close to it as some other borough officials, but he got off easy in respect to what he did. So know that we're serious. We're going to protect our trees and we're going to enforce it. I want to make sure that's now known. Also, I see a lot of posts on social media asking about things, what's going on at the borough and what's this and what's that. The borough has a great Facebook page. We're on Twitter too, I believe, right? I don't do Twitter, but I think the borough is on it. We do a great newsletter.
I don't think we are.
We do a great newsletter. Go to and we have a great website that was just been revamped. Go to the borough. Don't have people speculating and giving you bad information. I will never understand it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Amy, does you give your report?
Sure. So for 220 West Crescent, we had the approval of the building, the new building last night at the land use board meeting. We brought forward experts and the new plan, and everybody was very pleased and answered everybody's questions, and it passed. So we're very happy to moving forward. Hampshire's going to be moving forward with their 70 units. Simultaneously, the borough is going to be moving forward with our community rec center and kitchen. As we maintained from the very beginning, there's no increases in taxes for this project, which was the plan all along. We have also put in a grant to help supplement the community center, and we're in the process of receiving another grant for part of the investigation on the environmental impact. 9/11, we had a beautiful ceremony. It was raining, and actually it was the first time that I've been the MC that we had to have it inside, but it was still quite lovely. We had a lot of people. Thank you to all our first responders who showed up. Thanks also to Clan Naval, the bagpiping band who comes every year, also pipes out Crestwood Lake every year. They also volunteer to go in all our parades. really made the event very, very special. And a resident actually already reached out to me. As you know, we have our speaker series where people get to tell their story. Our speaker was another amazing speaker this year. And my resident said, you know what, I haven't been ready, but now I'm ready. And he actually wants to speak at our ceremony next year. So I'm meeting with him next week to have a conversation. So so it makes me feel good that we provided comfort for him and he feels good to tell the story. I would just like to commend our admin offices. Linda, our clerk over here is new and everybody else is kind of new in that office, but they really have been stepping up, taking charge, looking how to streamline things, make things easier for the residents and for them. So I just wanted, Linda, thank you and your crew, and please pass that along. Allendale Day is October 15th. And so put that on your calendars. And from Matt, the Public Safety Committee has not met since our last meeting. However, we've had a meeting with Chief Polk and regarding numerous items pertaining to the fire department, including some new policies, the need for more members, and some personnel matters. The police department is finalizing logistics for the shared service of the 911 answering. Chief Dillon is working with the chamber to facilitate the Fall Festival Day, which is October 15th. God bless you. A new patrol vehicle was placed into service. Making great progress with the IT upgrades at police headquarters. Year-to-date calls, fire calls, 177, EMS 554. Year-to-date police record entities and calls for service, 11,883. That's it.
Great. My report will be brief. September is National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. We read a proclamation last month in anticipation. So throughout the borough of Allendale, you will notice teal ribbons around the trees as part of the Turn the Town's Teal campaign. We want to thank the Allendale Women's Club for their efforts to raise awareness of this disease. It's back to school. Chief Dillon, I want to remind you of where we were a year ago, the first day of back to school.
I did get a memory on my timeline.
Right.
That we were up here speaking about.
Right. Yeah, Hurricane Ida, right. So fortunately, we didn't have that this year. It's been calm. Chief Dillon had good tips in the newsletter about how to keep everyone safe. I appreciate that. And other than that, I think everything was covered by the other council members. So that's the end of my report. We can go to committee reports. Ray Wiss.
I can be very brief as well. Work with the chief on the resolutions that are on tonight's consent agenda. With Mr. Kistner on some personnel and land use matters that are pending. With Linda's office on some Oprah requests that have come in. And with tomorrow's water utility meeting, we will set a new indoor record of 4 meetings in 1 week. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Linda, anything to report?
I do.
Okay,
The Borough of Allendale is looking for board workers for the general election. You will earn $300 for the day. For more information, you can contact me, Linda Servino, in the municipal clerk's office, or you can call the Board of Elections. Also, please be advised, October 18th, 2022 is the last day to register to vote for the general election to be held on Tuesday, November 8th. The municipal clerk's office in the municipal building, 500 West Crescent Ave, will be open until 9 p.m. on October 18th for the purpose of voter registration only.
great. Thank you very much. Ron, anything to report?
Yeah, just some short points. Talking with the fire chief, Paul, we did not start draining West Crestwood Lake. Now this recent was a drought, we're concerned about using that water in case of a fire. Now that we've had this recent rain, I'm concerned about, people trying to go through the lake. So we're going to start draining next week. As Councilman Sasso said, the construction department is really doing well with commit fees. It's actually the second highest since 2017, which was when the Whitney paid a lot of their fees. So this goes back to 2011. So for 11 years, they're in second place right now. Like you said, they're really, and that's not the case in a lot of the municipalities. Things are starting to slow down plus construction stuff.
This is with supply chain issues.
Well, that's why the downtown streetscape project that was going to start Memorial Day is finally starting next week. That we face the same issues. In that regards to my wife wants to meet Ray Wiss because she thinks I'm having an affair with somebody. Between personnel issues, property maintenance issues,
I'm gonna think
water
about that.
Yeah,
supply. Yeah, she doesn't think you exist. I think that's
Hold the tape.
That's
I'm not
right.
touching that.
So, Anyway, that's what, so, but,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Greg, Mr. West is an amazing asset to the community.
He
No
is.
matter what the issue comes up, I reach out to him and he gives me direction. I really do appreciate it. And there's a lot of that, but that's about it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Chief Dillon?
You know, Mr. Mayor, one of my hats that I wear as the emergency management coordinator. And I just want to shout out, thank you to Mr. Kistner and all the department heads who helped to get us to close out claims for both hurricane or tropical storm Isaias and tropical
Right.
storm Ida.
Right.
Between those two storms, the borough was reimbursed $240,000 for repairs to our infrastructure.
Right.
So Ron and I met. Mr. Kistner, I met the FEMA representatives. They closed out tropical storm Ida. I hope they were very pleased with us, very
Right.
happy, and the collaboration between the departments.
Right. Yeah,
Thank you for all the work you did with that.
Yeah, no, and the buzzword, the collaboration there's such collaboration through the borough. I mean, it's just, I know, I mean, this is Allendale's only place I've been, but I know it doesn't happen elsewhere. And there's some animus and not everyone works together in other towns, but Allendale, everyone's on the same page and everyone's working together.
Got done within a year, which is FEMA time.
Right,
Fast.
that's right.
In FEMA time.
Right. So is there anything else that I can do? Yeah. So good. So while we have the extra time, any unfinished business? Any new business? We've done the reports, discussed the consent agenda.
We can always talk more about water. Just
No,
kidding.
no.
Just kidding.
On second thought, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second,
Holman.
all in favor?
Bye.
Thank you. We will be back in 8 minutes. We're good. Okay, everyone. The time is now 8 o'clock. And this is the September 22nd, 2022 regular session of the Allendale Mayor and Council. Welcome to everyone who's joining us tonight in person and via Zoom. At this time, I ask the public present to please mute your devices so as not to distract from the business of the meeting. There'll be 2 opportunities for those present to speak during this meeting, and we will advise you at the appropriate times. Linda, please read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice requirements have been satisfied. The meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting, are posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and on the borough website, published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year, and copies are sent to the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting by the September 14th, 2022 Sunshine Notice was sent to the record, the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger, and has been posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and borough website.
Great. Thank you all. Please join me to salute the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Linda, please conduct the roll call.
Councilwoman Homan,
Here.
Councilwoman Lovasolo is absent. Councilman O'Connell,
Here.
Councilman O'Toole, absent. Councilman Sasso,
Here.
Councilwoman Wozinski,
Here.
Mayor Bernstein.
Here, there's no one in the public here, but I will open the floor to the public for agenda items. Not seeing anyone. The consent agenda, which we discussed in the work session, request a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Linda, please conduct a roll call.
Councilwoman Homan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo is absent. Councilman O'Connell,
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole is absent. Councilman Sasso,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozinski,
Yes.
Great, thank you. We did committee reports, public comment. Anyone from the public? Not seeing anyone. I would request a motion to adjourn the regular session.
So moved.
Second, Ed, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone.